Hey, all you Minties, welcome back to another recap review of Game of Thrones, a special Reels Talk episode that Omar and I have been doing for the past 4 weeks while we are on the last season of Game of Thrones. Just watched the fifth episode, the penultimate episode, if you will, of Game of Thrones before it ends next week. I think it's called The Last War, or at least that's what it's been, the title that we've been seeing so far. And I'm sure everyone has thoughts because Omar and I have quite a few thoughts about this episode. So let's go ahead and dive on in. So the episode, just to recap, and obviously, guys, there will be spoilers. If anyone's in the chat, Trig, thanks for coming out here, even if you don't watch the show. Glad you're here to listen to this take on what's going on with Game of Thrones and what the Davids are doing to our characters and this final season.
Has the name of the episode been announced yet?
No, but I think everyone's been saying it's The Last War. That's what it's kind of been tagged as, so that's what I'm going for, is The Last War.
Not the Mad Queen or Endgame or nothing like that.
If it was Endgame, I would have just shoot someone, because that's just damn.
You're gonna shoot somebody. Whoa, you are angry.
That makes sense. Anyway,
too angry. Okay. What's up?
Too angry. So,
all right, so let's talk about
recap.
What this episode, what happened, the cool things that happened, the amazing things that happened, and the things and how we feel about these things. This has been a long time coming. Seeing the dragons at King's Landing has been a wet dream for some of us since season 1.
Yep.
Since the last episode of season 1, we knew one day we would see the dragons at King's Landing, and this is not the way that I intended things to go. So let's talk about it. The episode starting off with Varys.
Varys, yes. So obviously we know from last episode that he now knows about Jon's secret, and he of course approaches Jon and, pretty much is begging him, we need someone better. You are that person. And of course Jon keeps going with his whole refrain of that he doesn't want it. And of course he's being watched because he is, that makes sense. And basically what happens is Dany, of course, finds out about it, and she approaches Tyrion saying, not only has, Jon has betrayed her because she begged him not to tell his family, and he did tell his family. And of course she knew, or could assume, that Sansa told Tyrion. That of course she was mad because Tyrion went to Varys first and didn't even tell her that he knew. And so there was that whole thing. And of course, who's the one who ends up getting it? Varys. The only person who just wanted a better world for all the common people of Westeros. He's the one who gets Dracarys by Drogon. While Tyrion and Jon just sit idly by and don't do anything about it at all. Even though they're both partly to blame. And
well, I mean, by that point it's too late, right?
Yeah, it is.
Jon is following his queen no matter what.
Clearly.
Tyrion is the one that ratted him out, and even though it was like saying goodbye to his best friend, he is the cause of his death. And that is not the only death that Tyrion is the cause of when we get there a little bit.
Nope.
I thought it was a cute, really throwback to the little birds that he used to have, and to have one more little bird giving the notice, whatever. But Tyrion ratting out Varys, didn't see that coming, and then getting burned instead of eaten. I think she'd be trying to feed the dragons now. But she burns him. And then she tries to get it on with her nephew again. He's like, yeah, I can't get hard anymore. This is weird. And she's like, well, then fucking fear it is.
Yeah.
Because here it comes. Here's the thing, Amanda, that we haven't mentioned. I made this joke, but now I don't think it's a joke. As we were watching the previews, I'm like, damn, the previews just made her become the Mad Queen. In the previews, you have all the dialogue from her past people.
Yes,
and the last thing you hear is her brother Varys say, do you want to wake the dragon?
Exactly.
And her eyes, it's that shot of her going crazy from the last episode when Missandei got killed.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, damn, did they just make her crazy like in the previews leading up to the episode? And I think, I mean, that's got to be the reason, right? Like,
that is 100% the reason. I mean, if anyone at this point, we all had assumed, based on how they were writing her character in the last couple of episodes, that this was going to be her turning point. And, someone had brought it up in the chat that anyone who thought Dany was going to be a happy queen is a fool. That's true, but I think anyone who thought it was going to take the turn so drastically is a little out of character, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Right. I think, well, we'll go back to that. Like,
yes.
I love that idea. I love the idea of Dany
it's a
turning
great
evil.
idea.
It's just unfortunately that they were down to 6 episodes and it happened like that. And
and if they knew this was the plot, they maybe should have put some seeds, more relevant seeds. I don't know, in season 7. I don't something. Yeah. So we have
then we have the road. We find out that Jaime is captured by Daenerys again and again. Tyrion makes the stupid decision to let his brother go, and he's like, "Please go talk Cersei out of killing these innocent people. Please, talk her. Go in the ship. I'll get Davos to smuggle you away because he's famous for smuggling onions, and he'll get you the fuck out of there." And Jaime's like, "Yeah, okay, that sounds like a good idea."
Yeah.
And then Arya and the Hound. I did like that scene with Arya and the Hound walking through the guards, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go kill Cersei. This is fucking Arya Stark. She just killed the Night King. Get out of the way." They get out of the way.
It was a great scene.
Right. And and then Tyrion's like, "Ring the bells. When we hear the bells, the war is over. The good guys have won."
Yep.
So let's talk about the battle. The battle itself, the way it was shot, I loved it. I think it was phenomenal.
And it was the same gentleman who did the Battle of the Bastards and of course,
and
the one that everyone
the Winterfell episode, but everybody was complaining it was too dark.
Yes.
I think it was shot beautifully. I love there's a lot of amazing shots in it.
Yeah, there was some good parallel scenes with the Hound and Arya too. So yeah, there were some great scenes in there as well.
With the dragon Drogo taking out the scorpions and all the ships, which makes me mad too because I was like, "Why didn't you take out all the ships last episode?" What was the I mean, dramatic effect. I get it, but I mean that dramatic effect lasted what, 10 seconds on screen?
Yeah, it did.
And then we have she wipes out all the ships, and then we have that badass tactic which I loved, where she comes in behind the Golden Company. The Golden Company didn't do shit. They got killed. They all got slaughtered by the dragon, which we knew was going to happen, right? But
we did.
Maybe there was a small hint that we're going to get a battle. The Golden Company's going to fight Jon Snow.
I was kind of hoping
the captain, but we didn't get any of that. We get Jon, and then a bunch of Thrakis that I guess were hiding in the last few episodes.
Yeah.
Go in there, and then the Unsullied, and then they start killing the Lannister men. The Lannister men give up. Mm-hmm. The bells ring.
Yep, the bells ring.
They surrender. Now, this is pretty interesting, like, because she's just sitting up there. Dany comes and sits on top of one of the, I guess, a watchtower or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. She's looking down at all the people.
She's looking at the people, and then she looks at Cersei's, the tower, right?
Yes, where she is. Yes.
And at this point, you're like, okay, I know where this is going because just watching the cinematography, there's a lot of setup for this episode. Them giving up, I'm like, this is not going to end pretty. She's going to end up killing them. But why? What's going to make her snap? Right, that's the key. Making her snap. Something's going to break, the camel's back. What is the straw? What is Cersei going to do? Nothing. She just goes fucking ballistic, like apeshit crazy, and destroys buildings, innocent people, like her own people. It didn't fucking matter. She is burning it to the ground. And at this point is when the direction turns, right? And you see Cersei looking from the tower, and Qyburn's like, bitch, we better get the fuck out of here. She's going to burn us. And you see that shot of Cersei, like, she's got her eyes wide open. She's like, this bitch is crazy. She's burning everything.
Yep.
So there's so many missed opportunities in this, and I hate fanficking things. I just expect the show to be smarter than me, right? Like when
I agree.
That's what I respect about Game of Thrones, and it always, for the most part, has been. So we have her snap for no reason. She is burning down everything. She, they have surrendered. Jon, of course, looking like Jon always does, all fucking lost. Like, what's happening? Then we have the nonsense battle, to me at least, it made absolutely no sense. Euron miraculously escapes
in the cave,
swim to shore to greet Jaime at the same time that Jaime's trying to go and find Cersei through some kind of back way. And he's like, hey, Kingslayer.
I want a king. I want one last king.
And he's like, I don't know
It
what
was
that
the
was.
battle no one asked for and no one needed and just took up time when they could have done something else. It was just a battle unnecessary. Euron could have died in the ships. Why did he have to have that moment? Why, like,
I don't get it. So they stab each other. He stab like Jamie ends up killing Euron, and Euron sits there dying, saying, "I am the man that killed Jamie Lannister." No one cares. So then we get finally Qyburn, and at this point I'm like, "Oh shit, it's Arya. Arya is Qyburn."
yeah.
And I'm like, she's gonna kill Cersei. This is gonna turn the tide, and she's still gonna die. Because if the fire burns Arya and Jon finds her later, that's gonna make him realize, oh shit, this bitch is crazy. She killed my sister.
Yep.
The person that killed the night. I don't know, but anyway, so no, it's Qyburn. They
Of course.
take off
With
with
the
the
mountain.
mountain, and
The
I
few
did like that
guards.
where the mountain where they're trying to tell the mountain to stop when they see the Hound. But before that, there was this wonderful moment between the Hound and Arya that seemed almost out of place, but because of the dialogue and because of the acting and the delivery, I was okay with when
Mhm.
he's like, I have been seeking for vengeance all my life. Go, because if you come with me, you are going to die. And I don't know. I don't. It's hard to read the character of Arya, right? Would she have made that decision just like that to leave, or would she have actually gone and said, "Fucking no, I'm going to kill Cersei"? So
See,
it was a weird turn. So I'm kind of having
it
mixed feelings about it.
well, it was weird because what we've seen from her so far is that her character wouldn't stop, right? She would go and kill Cersei. So it was really interesting that they decided to give her this arc, and I guess why, so we could see the destruction from her point of view in the rest of the battle, or it's not even a battle at this point, it's just destruction. The rest of the destruction of King's Landing, is that the only reason why they made her turn around and leave, is so that she could be there on the ground with the people? Because
We
I
see
guess,
things through her eyes, which we
yes,
can talk about that. The direction wise,
no, it
that
was
was
great.
amazing. Like
Yes, her scenes were
the
beautiful.
desperation. But
Yes,
what I consider,
they could have done it
like,
with
I
John
expect
though.
this show to be better because 4 times we faked her death. Like,
Yep,
the crushing of the rumbling of the rocks coming. Oh, she's alive. The explosion of the fire and she gets knocked out. Oh, she's alive. Yeah, okay, I get it. Once, cool. It's Game of Thrones.
yep,
Anything goes. 3 or 4, and I counted 4 times that she wakes up. I'm like, oh, this is fucking beyond stupid. Like,
exactly.
who is writing this? Who's approving this?
I have
And
no
I hate being angry at it because I expect so much, and that's what makes it. Maybe that's
hurt.
why I take it. That's why I take it so bad because I'm like, I'm not one of these guys who's like, I'm done with this show. I'm done with this show after this fucking season 8. This has been ridiculous. But now it feels like I'm just watching an average show with amazing production and beautifully shot.
You are,
And I don't want that. I want more.
yeah, and I'm sure it will stick the landing that the Davids want, but it won't. It's not coming about the way we want. That is appealing to the fans, and that's going to be a
Right.
problem.
And I think
No
it's
one's
safe
going to
to
be satisfied with the ending because of that. If they had done this right, then we would have been satisfied with the ending. So no matter what the ending is, I don't think anyone. There will be obviously
I
some.
mean,
Some
there
people will
might be
be.
there
There will
might be
be
a small
people who will
chance
be.
if
Yeah.
they're okay. So I did enjoy. That was one of my favorite moments is when Arya does say, "Sandor, thank you." She
Yes, I
calls him by his name instead of the Hound. Nobody
Hound.
ever calls him by the name, and
Exactly.
humanizing the character before he goes on to the battle. That a
Yes.
lot of people have been wanting, even though it was beautifully shot in this apocalyptic like background where everything is falling and fire everywhere.
Yeah.
It just seems so out of place for the Mountain and the Hound to be fighting at this time. At least to me. I mean, this is my opinion, of course. And then the Hound decides to go out in a literal blaze of
Blaze of
glory
Glory.
by taking out
Hey,
his brother.
I honestly don't know how else he could have done it. So
Well, it had to be fire, right? He's
it
afraid of
had to
fire, but the thing that he hates the most is his brother. So it doesn't matter. He puts
matter.
that fear aside and
Yes. So
takes a
that was
tumbling,
a
and then
great moment for him, and I think that was, that was one of those deaths that was well deserved.
So and then we have Cersei meet up with Jamie, who's hurt, and she's taking this turn of like, I don't want to die. I want
Yeah.
our baby to survive. And I think what we're supposed to feel is remorse for her and bad. But she just hasn't been in this goddamn season any.
No, and that is an issue. We haven't seen that much of her because she was in the first episode for a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
but the
And why
second
even
episode and third episode, not
no,
that much.
right.
Yeah, not at
And
all.
why even want us make like I get that you want to show some or I'm sorry, Daenerys is now the villain and not Cersei.
Yeah.
But making Cersei likable is not gonna make
At this point, it's too
Daenerys
late
that
because
much evil, right?
yeah,
At
at
this
this
point,
point,
you're
it's too
making
late.
characters
Yeah.
just turn so out of character, so
Yeah.
stupid. Like, it makes no sense. So I
Yeah.
didn't, by the time I thought it was lovely and I loved the way it was shot. I think it was romantic in a fucked up way. But then again, Jamie and Cersei's romance has
Yeah.
been the way it's described in the books. It's really pretty. Like, it's just fucked up pretty, but it's really pretty. So I like the way that he held her and they both died. I mean, oh my
Yeah.
god! If next episode, if they wake up from the rubble going, man, that was close.
I'll be
You know what? I can't do it
you
anymore.
know to
I can't.
to be fair, they said she'd die at the hand of her younger brother. Technically, she did
She did.
because
Tyrion killed her.
Tyrion is the one who, if it
You are
wasn't for him
absolutely right.
coming to Daenerys and helping her through all this and getting her to the gate, yeah, I mean, it's not directly by their hand, but it was because of it was because of both of her younger brothers, really, if you think about it, because Jamie was there. Not that he mattered much in the Battle of Winterfell, but he was still there helping them and not helping her. So, um, yeah,
Now, I love what they have done, like, with the show. I love what the the two producers have brought, like, something amazing. Like, we talk about this all the time, right?
yeah, we
Like,
do. We
and
have
we're
an
gonna do
episode we're
well, we
gonna talk
actually
about
are
this
gonna do an episode next
next
Saturday.
Saturday.
Like, will there be will
Anything
there
like
be anything like Game of Thrones ever again? But it's just the expectations are so high. How do you meet those? Because no matter what, no matter when a show ends, whether, like I've mentioned before, whether it's The Sopranos or Breaking Bad, you're not going to satisfy everybody, right?
Yeah, no, you
But
can't.
as far as, like, I think as fans and as people that have just devoted so much time into this,
Yeah,
talking 8 seasons, right?
yeah,
That's 9 years because we skipped a year. And then people
yes,
have gone and read the books. Like, even people that have never read books are like, oh, I'm fucking read it. Especially
uh-huh,
after season 1, they're like, oh, you find out what happens. I think as those kind of fans, I hate to even sound like this, but we deserve better than we needed these characters to be treated better, not just like average characters from standard TV shows. And I feel like that's the route they were going. So anyway, let's finish talking about
yeah,
it, then we
and
can
that's
give our
what someone
opinions.
had mentioned that they're not pretentious enough to think they know better than the showrunners. And I'm not saying that we're not saying we know better than the showrunners on how they write the show. But there's a Twitter feed I had sent our family chat. This guy named Daniel Silverman, look him up on Twitter, and he has this huge thread on what this writing process has probably been like. Like, there's people who are called pantsers and people who are called plotters. So pantsers are people like George R. R. Martin. They start out with this concept and they let their writing to kind of take over and see where it goes, and lets the characters and how he writes them drive the story, which is what a lot of the trouble is George R. R. Martin's having right now, because he has that writer block where he took certain characters, he doesn't know where to stick the landing. Then there are plotters who have an outline, they know where they want to land, but they have to sacrifice characters, as far as their personalities, their own egos and everything like that, to get to that point. And they sometimes feel like plot devices. And I think that's where we're at right now with the last couple of seasons of Game of Thrones, and even more so with this season, is because they've reached the point where they know how they're going to end it. They've plotted it out. Now, how do we make sure the characters get there? It means that some of the characters, like Daenerys or Arya or any of them, their characterizations are gonna be, like, deformed in some way to make it fit the way they want it to land. And maybe if they had more episodes or whatever the case may be, it wouldn't have happened that way. But this is the fact of life. They chose to do 6 episodes, just longer, and now we are with what we have.
Psycho Cleveland's right. Like, and I'm curious to know about this. Like, we don't know how much George R. R. Martin has told them, right? We only know after certain episodes. Like, we knew about Hodor.
Yes.
Like, that was a thing, but we don't know about the season, like what he's told them.
No, we don't. We have no idea what he's told them, as far as what his version of the ending. And I'm sure, well, he plans on finishing the books, I think, so he's never going to tell us this is exactly how I wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. So we'll never know for sure. But
I mean, he knows how the ending is, but he's
yes.
the one that told them how, how it's going to end, because they have to know how it's going to end.
Mm-hmm. And yes, you're right. Forgerelli, I hope I didn't say that wrong. He did give them the big strokes. So I
Yeah.
think obviously the prophecy about John, things like that, and of course whatever this ending is going to be, I have a feeling is, it
Oh,
may not end up. We may not get there the same way, but I think that's going to be the similar ending to what they want.
I think I told you before. I think when we did our first review,
Yeah,
I think we are too far into the game to see resurrection of characters, and too far into the game to play the prophecy game. Like everybody was expecting Tyrion to be riding a dragon.
it's not happening now.
Cool. I
Yeah,
mean, they even hinted at it in the TV show when he touched the dragon, and it made a lot of
yeah.
book fans like so happy. They were like, "Yes, you have a small child behind you.
I know. Sorry, she
She's
won't let us
attacking. Is that
sleep.
Arya?"
Yeah, that's Arya. She's gonna assassinate me. What do you want?
What's up for Jelly?
Here, take that.
Yeah, actually, you're right. It's like Cleveland. Some of those complaints could be complaints towards uh, Martin. So we really don't know how much he has given them.
It's true. I mean, all these things that you're right. All the things that we are complaining about could have been what George had in mind, and now he's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
damn.
I think turning her evil, absolutely, that is a
Yeah.
move like that he would have done. I think it, but he would have taken 5 books to do.
Oh yeah,
I don't
exactly. He
care if
would
he
have.
said I will be done in 2 more books. I think he would have expanded that into 5 more books.
I think wasn't it originally supposed to be a trilogy, but then with how his story grew, because he is a pantser, not a plotter, it
He
ended up
doesn't.
being like,
I think one of his biggest issues, and some people love this about him, is he doesn't know how to write long time plots. Right. So
yeah,
if instead of saying 5 years later, like most TV shows, most movies, Avengers Endgame,
yeah,
most books, right, he
hmm,
actually goes through the time that it takes to get there. So as you're reading, you're like, oh, damn, that was 5 years ago, or.
yes,
So let's see. The desperation. Yeah, I wasn't kidding about Arya. Fake out like 4 different times that she got hit by
yeah,
rubble. She got burned. The whole. And I don't know. Like while I said it was beautifully shot, I don't know how I felt about the mother and daughter, because that was really thrown in your face from the beginning. These two unknown characters that show up in the penultimate episode of the final season.
and you have to feel
Okay,
something for
they're
them.
gonna die. They're gonna do
Yep.
something like artsy with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I felt about it with their burnt bodies and the toy. The child had a toy because they had already done that with what's her name, Stannis's daughter,
Yes,
Marine.
with Shireen. Yeah,
Shireen,
they've
thank you.
already done it with Shireen, so we've already had
So
that pathos or ethos, if you will. We've already
thank
made to
you.
feel that.
And then we have
Yeah.
the burning of all of this. Right, it's King's Landing is
Yeah.
gone practically,
Oh
except
yeah.
maybe except the Iron Throne. We know the
Yep.
Iron Throne's okay because that's the end game. And Arya sees a horse in beautiful slow motion with beautiful music. You know,
Yeah.
rides away, rides out of King's Landing, and that's where the episode ends.
And
We have one more episode of Game of Thrones.
the preview gave us not a lot to
I'm
go
okay
off.
with that. I don't need.
Yeah, me
I
too.
just need. I need.
But we
Like I
know
know
our
Dan.
three main players. Obviously, it did show us this. We have Jon, Tyrion, and Arya, and then you have Dany. We have these three against her, and that's the way the preview was made to be set up. You have these three opponents, if you will, that I think are not happy with Daenerys right now. They're not happy with Daenerys right now. Um, Tyrion's probably shooting himself in the foot, saying, "Why have I been so stupid? Like, what have I done?"
It's a really pretty way of looking at it. Arya's death and rides a pale horse. That's a
Yes,
really good way of.
that is a
That is
really
Haitian refugee wrote that. By the
yes.
way, this is a
That's
good
true.
time to remind you guys if you're enjoying this, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing to the channel.
Yes.
Let's talk about the way it was shot. Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the way it was shot? Did you enjoy?
I think that's what I enjoyed most about it, was just the different camera angles, what the choices they chose on what they wanted to show in the different scenes. And like, some of the, like I said, that there was some nice parallel moments, like when the Hound was fighting his brother and Arya was fleeing the city, and they both, like, she gets trampled kind of, and he kind of gets downed by some rocks and stuff, because of course he's still in a falling castle that's crumbling, and there's some good parallel scenes there. And there are some really interesting moments where you think that she's coming at Cersei, but she doesn't. Like, there are some really good choices, the way it was shot. So yeah, directing wise, excellent. Have no complaints about that.
Um, I thought it was one of the most beautifully shot episodes. It's in my probably if I have to say, it's probably in my top 10 favorite episodes that it was shot, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's hard to grade an episode like this because when you break it down, you have to be like, well, I didn't like the plot, I didn't like what they've done with the characters. The dialogue from time to time was actually pretty solid, and the way it was shot was wonderful and beautiful. But I just think it's almost like a waste for something like this. The battle was great. The special effects, as like I mentioned, Drogo burning down the city and the scorpions, the ships, everything was. But the Golden Company, which was a little, even the fight that was turned out to be kind of underwhelming, unfortunately,
It
between
was.
between the Hound and the Mountain,
Yeah.
was still beautifully shot. Okay. What
It sounds so defeatist of that sigh, Omar.
I have been
It,
watching this show like many people since episode
yes.
1.
Yeah.
Episode 1, what was fun about the show was it never went the way that I wanted it to go, right?
Yeah.
Like I've mentioned, it's smarter than me. It's smarter than my way of like, oh, this is going to happen. It never ever. And now it's like it's doing something different, but I wish it was going the way that I thought in my head it should go. And I'm not pulling a Last Jedi on it. Nothing like that. Like, oh, this should
No.
have done Mark Hamill's character. No, nothing like that. It's still, god damn, it's still one of the best shows on television.
Yeah.
And overall, I mean, but the ending has to be. I mean, the ending is what makes the show. The show could be phenomenal and the ending could be shit. Tyrion could be driving away in Italy or
You really
wherever
just
my
want
dream
this
had when
6
season
feet
one.
under, the 6
you
feet under
know,
ending.
and it could turn into shit. Like if the
Yeah.
ending is not resolved, I mean, we have a lot to resolve.
We do. There's still like, are we ever going to come back up with Yara? We know. I mean, obviously
I
she's hanging
don't.
out,
I think those characters are long gone. Tormund's gone. Sam's getting his happy ending. We're never going to see those characters again,
and that's a
and
shame.
if that's
But
okay,
okay,
I'm okay with that. I get it. We don't have time. They chose to make 6 episodes.
it's true.
Now, had they done 10 episodes, sure, maybe we'll get some kind of like an epilogue with Sam and his family and with
Well, and
him
someone had
walking
asked it.
back to the door like in the way the Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
ended.
Oh God, don't say that. That makes me tear up thinking about Samwise Gamgee. There's something beautifully written. No. Someone in the chat had mentioned that. I can't remember who it was. Do you Empower? I think asked. Do
Mm-hmm.
you think that they will do some kind of an epilogue? Maybe it was where they have like the kids of Sam and Gilly, and they might do something like of that nature because he is
I
the
I don't.
Sansa's. Yeah, it would be free
Had
for
you
her.
asked me that like during season 1, 2, and 3? Hell no.
But now,
No,
yeah,
no way.
probably.
Now that it's turning into a fucking standard show,
Yeah,
sure, they'll probably do an epilogue 10 years later, or I don't know, the next ice age with the return of the fucking Ice King or Night King or whatever the hell they're going
yeah.
to call him in the future. You know, I I mean, so what's going to happen? Okay, God damn.
You want to
I
speculate
do not
now?
want to. I don't even want to talk about what the
We got
grading.
one
Grading it is going to
episode
break my
left.
heart. All right, in the chat, out of 10, what would you all give this episode, Amanda? Let's do this.
Okay.
Out of 10, just this episode alone, not the season, not the show. This episode, which anybody in the chat know what this episode was called, by the way?
I was going with The Last War because that's what I've heard. But if anyone else had
Okay.
heard it differently, let me know.
Yeah. Let's go ahead, Amanda. What would you give it?
I think I would give this another. I would give it like a 7, 6.5.
6.5 out of 10. For me, I think I'm gonna go with really the saving grace of the show was the dialogue, a couple of moments, and then the direction and the special effects, the CG, the practical effects they used. They're still using sets. I fucking my hats off to them. But I think a 6 out of 10, and that's even fucking high for something like this, which sucks. That sucks that 6 out of 10 is high because, man, I just want it more. I want it. I totally get Dany turning, but making her turn with no fucking reason, like coming out of nowhere. Like
the only thing I can think of is in her mind. This is what I'm thinking in her mind as she's sitting there listening to the bell, asking for mercy. they're asking for mercy, and then she's thinking about, well, Miss Sandy didn't get mercy from you. You killed her anyway. So why am I going to give your people any mercy? And then, of course, everything else in her mind. Of course, we can't see that. It's not a book. It's not written down. So it's all having to be portrayed through her facial expressions.
That was wonderfully shot, too. The way, like, Cersei's looking. And then it's weird, right? Because Cersei is somebody that has never seen battle. And you see Daenerys all scruffed up, and she's got, blood and just smoke marks everywhere. So it's a queen that has seen battle, and she's had enough. And even then, I'm like, man, I just wish, I don't know, something had made her snap. And that's it. No more. Bells went off, and she started reciting the bells of Edgar Allan Poe. Now, keep in mind, these grades are just art.
Yeah, they're just art.
And everything is subjective. What some people think is a 10 out of 10, of course, other people see it as a 2 out of 10 or whatever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't take your joy away. We are not shitting on anybody's love of the show. I still love the show. I'm still going to go see it all the way through. This episode just made me upset. More so than I think a lot of other people had already been upset by the season. But this episode, the way it was shot and the direction that they went with characters. What's that?
Chris M's like, I wouldn't bang my aunt. Well, good. I'm happy that you and he as I think why.
What if your aunt looked like Daenerys, Chris M?
Yeah. And Power Side truly, I still think she was actually pregnant, because that last line of her telling Jaime she didn't want her child to die. Why would she say that? She knows she's going to die. There's no way he could let her. There's no way they were out. I mean, there's no escape for them at that point. They were stuck there in that cave dungeon, if you will.
Costa is saying that he thinks episode 5 is called The Bells, and episode 6 might be the last 4.
Okay.
The name of the episodes. The last 4 is a cool name, by the way.
It is. That is a cool name.
So if somebody can confirm that would be awesome.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see if Dany survives this. Yeah. That road to a brand new type of government sure is looking better and better each day.
Oh yeah, I don't want to talk politics next episode.
Yeah.
I want fucking
second cousin. You're good with second cousin? Okay. Keep that in mind.
Chris M. Good answer. Well, I mean, she does look pretty sharp though, man.
Yes.
I would do it in a second. My boy, Cycle Cleveland. Why am I asking? I wasn't asking the chat, guys. Let's ask Chris.
I think that we're gonna have quite a few people. I'm still on the fence about if Jon Snow is going to kill Daenerys or not, or if it will be Arya who has to do it.
You don't see Sansa coming into this at all. You don't see Sansa coming in at all, or do you think she was gonna fucking snap and go and kill Sansa and King? And
see, I'm a little worried about that right now. She knows that Sansa. She doesn't. At this point, she has snapped. Whether or not Jon has any, she also knows Jon is a huge threat. So if I was him, I'd be a little scared of her right now, especially because like everyone's talking about in the chat, he's denied her, and that's a terrible thing to say, but I think it's because she knows, not because he denied her, but because she knows he has the rightful claim, and anyone would be willing to follow him over her in a heartbeat because of the type of leader he is, and that he inspires hope and not fear. And it's so crazy because she used to inspire hope when it was over in the other side of this, the other continent, but now she's on this continent, and now she inspires fear, not hope. And I guess that is a hard pill to swallow for anyone who's used to being seen one way, and now they're being seen another way, and they just, can't seem to change those minds of the Westerosi.
Westeros? Sure.
Yeah.
You're an English major.
Tyrion is dead.
You can make up with stuff. Is Tyrion dead? I don't. Honestly, at this point, I really don't know where the show.
This episode, maybe.
I thought Tyrion was going to get fried in this episode, and that's what was going to make Jon go. Yeah, I think Khaleesi's fucking crazy. Or
I think it's
the way they were fucking pushing it in your face was, oh, I thought Arya was going to get killed. Jon finds her body, and he's like, no, we got to stop her.
That's what I was thinking too.
But no, like, it's just Jon looking lost like he always has in fucking season 1 and 2.
And not
that character has grown.
Agency. This is the only thing I thought Jon Snow's character has grown. Where is the agency for him? When is he going to, like, I don't know. He's a very reluctant leader.
Here's a question for you, Amanda.
Yeah.
Do you think this would have happened if Jon had given her some dick?
No. I don't think it would have mattered.
You don't think if she had
No,
gotten some Jon Snow the night before the battle, she would
no.
have thought like
And
you don't think so?
honestly, I would be as a woman, I'd be a little disappointed if that was the only thing that saved her from being mad.
That's
I'd
why she
rather,
snapped. She didn't get that
yeah,
Jon Snow
nope.
dick that last time.
Nope. Nope.
Oh, my boy, Psycho Cleveland quoting "Chasing Amy." Hell yes.
Wow.
Um. Yeah. So, if the next episode is how long's the next episode?
It's also, I think it's 80 minutes as well. So the last two were the same amount of time. So they're both 80 minutes. So it's going to be another long one like this one.
She needed some snow to chill out the
Oh,
fire in.
jeez. All right. All right, guys. Goodness gracious. I don't think it would have helped. Just
You
saying.
think it was too late? You
Especially,
think it's too late?
no, because that's not the direction the Davids were going. And if it was, why? Like, it shouldn't matter. What should matter more is that he has more claim to the throne, that people love him more than her, that she's lost all of her children and people that she's loved while she's come over to this continent to help to, I guess, be their savior, but she's not their savior. She's just another tyrant. I don't know.
I love that though. This is a good question. What's the white horse a nod to Nymeria? Can dire wolves more into other animals? You know, I was actually I made that joke. I'm like, it should have been Nymeria, even though it's completely out of place. But you know what? This damn episode isn't making any sense anyway.
Why
So
would it be?
throw her in there. And then they were like, wait, we're out of CG. We can't use
Yeah.
any more money.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Nash Villains makes a good point. Arya may attempt to kill Dany and fail, which would be uncharacteristic. My daughter's now playing my Harry Potter books, excuse me. And Jon will take action. I'm hoping at this point Jon doesn't need that to be his final straw. I would hope that seeing her destroy innocent women and children and men is enough for him to say, this isn't what I want to follow, because this is what I've been fighting against the entire 7 seasons up to this point. The killing of innocent people, the way these rulers take, these people who are in charge take advantage of those who are, not, because he was a bastard for a long time until he realized or found out that he was not.
Do you think that Jon can take control of Drogon?
Huh?
Do you think Jon can take control of Drogon?
Oh, I would love it if that. See, I kept thinking that was gonna happen, because when he, I thought, how is Jon gonna stop this? How is he gonna possibly try to save the day? And it would be to somehow get Drogon and take control of him, because he can do that, right? Or he should be able to, essentially, because he's a Targaryen. So yeah, I would like to see that. If that happened, I would like to see that.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this episode was called The Bells, and Nashville said the last episode is called A Dream of Spring. I like the last 4. That's a cool name. Maybe there will be no ruler. Even the Stark people went rogue. They were raping people, which was so fucking weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see. Speculations, Amanda. What do you think? Final episode. Who's gonna try to go after Dany? How long is it gonna take Jon's dumbass to turn on her? When is Tyrion gonna give his wonderful speech and actually do something smart? How is this gonna go down? She has the dragon. She has her.
Has the dragon.
The Unsullied still follow her.
Yeah,
they followed her lead. They started killing. They started killing unarmed men. That's fucked up.
Yep. And I saw Grey Worm's face. I mean, he's gonna tell her what Jon did, or that Jon did not keep fighting. And I mean, it could be the two of them, he kills her and then he's killed by, a follower or something, and leaving us with no ruler except for Gendry, who is, I guess, since he's a Baratheon, has the only claim to the throne if they are both dead. So
I don't know. I think there's a lot of things this show can do next episode.
Yeah.
To me, I think it needs to redeem some characters. It needs to redeem the character of Tyrion. If Dany is fucking nuts and it's too late to turn her back, then
yeah, it's just too late at this point.
We need some other characters to step up.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. For Jelly saying Arya tries to kill Dany, fails, and gets killed. Jon kills Dany. Various letters went out, and the Seven Kingdoms rally to Jon. I don't know if Jon's gonna make it. I see Jon actually dying, and then the next Stark in line would be Sansa. Sansa
Yeah.
sitting on the throne. I mean, she was trained by Littlefinger. She lived with Cersei. She's got the heart of a Stark.
Yep.
I mean,
She
she could do it,
It could
which
be at this point, this is what they've been setting up this entire time.
it would be completely
Was
unexpected from any of
Yeah.
the the books where they are now, like Sansa sitting on the throne. Um, but man, taking out Dany, that's gonna be tough. Unless they, what could possibly take? I mean, you got Drogo, right? Like, what could possibly? How could you possibly take
Drogo.
her out? Arya.
Zombie Joffrey.
Somebody mentioned
It
actually
has to be it w
warging
that's why in my
into
opinion, it has to be
Drogon, right?
Arya to do it because she is the assassin with,
What
Faceless
face
Man.
is she gonna wear? The other dragon's face, Viserion?
Grey
Or
Worm's face, I mean
oh, I thought she had to kill the people in order to
Oh,
wear
yeah,
their
you're right,
faces.
never mind. She had to kill him first. Can she get Miss Sandy's face? Is she
Wow,
I mean,
that's dark.
dark. Someone asked where the F is that one dude.
Who?
He's talking about,
My boy
what's
Braun?
no, the one who changed actors that you like the first one better.
Oh, Dario.
Dario, yeah,
Dario.
Mark's gone. I don't think we're gonna see him
Yeah, I
come
wanted
back up.
original Dario to show up. I don't know.
He stayed on that other con. I don't think he's coming. Um, he's gone. We're not gonna see it. If he showed up all of a sudden out of nowhere, I'd be shocked. But she could still kill Grey Worm, Arya, and then take his face if that's how it works.
I mean, it could. Okay, so I guess my speculation is Queen Sansa sitting on the throne somehow. I don't see Jon
Yes,
living.
he's on that
Maybe by this point it's
behind.
too late to kill Tyrion. So
Yeah,
Tyrion being the hand of the king, and Jon being the Queen Slayer.
it is Queen Sansa, and he becomes her wife because they've been. I don't know if they're
Oh,
set.
you think they'll get married instead of becoming
File.
hand of the queen?
Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe the guy who Cersei paid to kill the Lannister brothers. Oh, Braun, I love that guy. No,
Yeah,
he got promised what's it called? The gardens. So
yeah,
as
Tyrell's
long as one of the Lannister boys survives, which so far Zombie Joffrey versus Zombie Ramsay battle coming. God, I love to see that. I miss those. I miss psycho characters like that.
And there's another thing, Bran. Are we done with Bran at this point?
Sure.
Yeah, a lot of people
till the prequel. Then you can see Bran in the prequels.
Oh yeah, because he can go back. Oh, that's true. He
I
can
was
go back
wondering
into the
too.
past. That's what he always talks about. He's more in the past now.
So
Yeah.
somebody was asking what the symbolism was of Varys taking his rings off. Is that like to pay the little girl that was snitching, or I don't know. I didn't get that either. Or do you think the paper was the same or different in the previous letters we saw him writing? People are saying Bran will be a king. I would take a turn at it. What? That guy doesn't even want to be a Stark.
Agreed.
Steph, what's up, Steph? Steph, Arya might try something after seeing the mother and daughter arms. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
those shots were in your face.
We already know she doesn't particularly like Daenerys, especially the last episode. We already knew that going in. This just gives her more motive. She's a Stark, even though she's a faceless man too, but she's still a Stark through and through, and she wants to remind Jon that. And I think he is now reminded that he is definitely not Daenerys's lover anymore or follower.
Noir Wolf was saying Martin has stated that Tyrion is the main character of the series, unlikely to die.
Well, that was my thought,
that he was. I'm with Psycho Cleveland. Wouldn't that have made him more likely to die if he's the main character?
Well, my theory was that he would be the one to outlast everyone just because of, well, his supposed intellect.
Shit, I ain't seen that in 3 seasons about.
I know.
The vote on who is the best in the world, and Bran isn't like the others, and what he's saying the whole time. Dany should just lie and say Drogo went crazy. I mean, that was all the dragon, wasn't me.
Yeah.
Do you think she'll get a chance to sit on the throne?
Who? Dany?
Dany. Mm-hmm.
At this point, I think she will start out sitting on the throne as soon as that next episode opens up. But will she last on the throne by the end of this episode? No. She's already won. She's won. She won that battle. She really didn't even need any of her army or anything. She just needed one
dragon. She was kind of a dick. She just had them there to get killed.
Yeah, exactly. They just got attacked. She didn't need any of her army. They all could have hung out beyond the walls of King's Landing and waited till she got done, breathing fire on everything. We didn't even need any of that except to show the horrors of what was going on inside King's Landing, that we needed our main characters inside King's Landing to do that. So that's why we had her guys come in there. Oh yeah,
I think the throne's still there. I think because they purposely didn't show it.
For a reason. It might be the only thing standing in amongst the rubble.
Yeah, they purposely didn't show the throne.
It is the Iron Throne, and I have a feeling. Does anyone know what it's made of?
I have no idea.
Well, I'm like, is it made of some? Anyways,
adamantium.
Vibranium. Yeah, I think it's still there.
Cyclops is better than Wolverine. There he is. Great action, horrible story. Thank you. That's the way I think. I texted Amanda and I'm like,
great action. You did.
I said it was beautifully shot. Bad storytelling.
Yes, very bad.
Made of iron. It is the Iron Throne. Thank you for Jelly. No surprise to you, my friend.
Right. It's made of honor, so it has to still be standing. Now it might be in some rubble. Keep in mind, it's not like there's some and everything fell around it. I don't know if it's that magical, but it's still there. And
it's magical.
I think they threw magic out the window a long time ago. The Davids want no part of that.
That's why we never got a Lady Stoneheart, which now it's all making sense.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah, so Arya should have told Dany her plan. There's a lot. I mean, and that's what happens in TV shows, right? And in books and in stories to drive the dramatic effect. There's no communication between characters. Only you as the viewer know, and you get pissed off. It's almost like you're watching Beverly Hills 90210, and I cannot believe I just made that comparison. Or a soap opera, right? When characters don't talk to each other.
No, they don't.
I don't see why Dany should die. Her anger is just.
Her anger at Cersei, but her anger at innocent people, I'm not really quite sure. They haven't done anything but just follow whoever their current ruler is.
Well, that is a good question, though. Do they have a right to say anything? Does Jon and Tyrion, do you think they have a right to be like, hey, that's him to the queen. Yeah, he has every right to tell her this was kind of fucked up. But do they actually have a ground to stand on with an argument of, I mean, she knows there's going to be casualties. She even told Tyrion there was going to be casualties, right?
Yeah, but that many casualties? I mean, they rang the bell.
I'm not agreeing with her. I'm just saying, do they have anything to stand on right now? Arya is the only one that can be interesting. I need to remind you, bitch, I killed the Night King. And I didn't kill innocent people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, every time that Jon Snow has had to kill someone, it has been for a reason, and it's not been through anger or anything like that. Every time he's done it, it has been, for the most part, he even had to take it to that poor Ollie kid. Not poor, he's the one who stabbed him right there. So I guess that's not really, the kid should have done it.
and Noir Wolf, you're right. At this point, Daenerys is no better than the Mad King or Cersei.
No,
I think. And I think obviously they are throwing it in your face, right? They're like, yeah, absolutely, she is the Mad Queen.
Yeah.
And because all apparently inbred Targaryens are.
Yes.
Maybe that's why Jon didn't want to be part of that.
Tossing a coin. You might get someone like Rhaegar. You might get someone like his dad.
Tyrion hasn't given good counsel in seasons and embarrassed her numerous times. Absolutely. We were just talking about that. I think it's been at least 3 seasons since Tyrion has done something smart. God bless. She fulfilled the Mad King's last order, burn them all. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she fulfilled the Mad King's last orders, which was burn them all before Jaime killed him.
Yep.
Damn. So next episode is going to be pretty interesting where it goes and the direction they go. And the next episode is what's going to make this one of the best series of all time, or one of the most disappointing series that started off so wonderful. So I mean, there's still a lot of things that could go good. I still
Yeah.
have high hopes, but you know, I try to be more hopeful these days
Yeah,
instead
well,
of
I'm
being
so
negative.
glad. I mean, at this point, let's just hope and pray we get what we want, and or well, that we are at least somewhat satisfied.
Yeah, I think it all depends on how that ending goes.
Yeah, it really does.
Um, was there anything else you wanted to bring up from this episode, or anything little Easter eggs you noted? I didn't notice really anything, but I was
No,
too busy writing notes.
I'm kind of glad. I was a little worried they were going to try to introduce this Golden Army, the Golden Company captain for some reason, because they used him as a still, and it was so prominently that it was him. And I was like, they're not going to try to introduce some new character to us already, and we're on episode 5 of 6. And luckily, no, he was basically just used to show, the the.
I like that. That was a smart strategy. I love
I
that.
really was afraid. I was like, are we gonna get him?
I mean, by that point, you were like, "Oh, she's gonna win. How is this going to turn?" And that was the thing. I guess it never did turn. It just
No.
turned because she made it turn, and she made that conscious decision to go and fucking slaughter everything she saw.
Yep.
I did like the idea of the dragon fire just blowing up, not to be forgotten, right? Dragon fire still in that city, and it's blowing up everywhere. That was a nice little thing. Love the way that Qyburn died. He was like, "No, Mountain, you gotta listen to." Motherfucker has outlived a lot of people that should have stayed alive.
Yeah.
That wasn't 20,000 soldiers, though. No, it wasn't. I thought there was going to be a
Yeah,
lot more
there's
than those dudes. But
yeah.
then again, we don't know how many she burnt behind the door, right? They
Yeah.
were behind there, and she
Yeah.
came through the door. So there you go, saving yourself a little money with that budget.
Yeah.
Wildfire, yes, thank you, not Dragonfire.
Yes,
Wildfire,
wildfire,
thank you
the
for
stuff they
jelly.
used. Yeah, Ameski, I also went the Varys killing was so sudden. It was
Yeah, that's when
I was
Amanda started texting me
I
going,
text
"What?
something. I was like, F
Fuck
this.
this show. Fuck this show."
This like I'm done.
Exactly what she said. And I was like,
Word
yeah,
for
it's
word.
kind of off to a weird start.
The weird beginning to this
Well, I
battle.
mean, the beginning, it was the beginning of foreshadowing her
Yeah.
going fucking crazy, even though she was showing no mercy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, she went all fucking Dark
She
Phoenix on us
She
like
could Dark Phoenix.
that.
Yeah. Wonder what Chris Claremont would think.
Oh, he loves this show. I
know.
Maybe when I see him in Knoxville, I'll ask him, what did you think of the season?
Hey, I know it's been a while since.
Well, I would have introduced Wolverine towards halfway through the episode. I love that man.
Would have been better. Anyways, all right. Is that everything? That's all we got?
That is everything. Thank you everybody for joining us, and let us know what other show you guys want us to do this with. Like, are you all interested in Watchmen?
Yeah,
Watchmen's one of those properties that I've always thought like, because there's not a lot of shows that we can do this with, right? When Netflix releases a show, it's like, here's a whole season.
Yep. Right.
HBO actually has a time that they schedule things, like even DC Unlimited, like, or DC the DC app. They unveil it
Fridays.
Sometimes Friday mornings, so we can't really do this live thing. This is nice. So let us know what other shows you would be interested in us doing a show like this.
I would love to just watch Barry just to review it. Yeah, because
Barry would be great. That's a very underrated show. I saw season 1. I need to catch up. I think they're on 3 seasons so far, right?
Yes, they are on 3 seasons, and yeah. Garner Henry Winkler's first Emmy, I believe. He's never won one until he.
You didn't get one for the Fonz?
Nope, first one he ever received was best.
He should have gotten one for the Fonz when he jumped the shark over King's Landing. Bam! See what I did there?
No, the Watchmen show does not for Dorelli. The Davids, because they are the ones producing it. The same people from Game of Thrones said they were going in it. They're not going to really be following the comics. Is that right?
Oh, it absolutely is. And when it's I think years after the ending of Watchmen, which could be interesting. But Watchmen is just one of those hard, like, it's a hard property, like, to do it justice. And the movie did, I'm probably alone here, but I thought the movie did a pretty good job for what they had. It would never have worked as a movie. It's a comic book for a reason. There are some properties that should just be left alone. Ask the properties that are. So with that being said, yes. Amanda, would you do us the honor?
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for notification of more great Near Mint condition content. Remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at Near Mint Con. We also did start a Patreon, so if you want to support our channel, check the link in our About Us description of the channel for more information on that. And remember, everyone, if it's classy and cool, it must be Near Mint.
Oh, Deadwood the movie, good choice. I'm sorry. Sorry, Amanda, what were we saying?
Nope. And
No, go ahead.
anyone who is a mother in the chat, happy Mother's Day.
Oh, I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that. Yes, happy Mother's Day.